So I chose to do my Genius Hour project on assistive technology, and first I want to start off by defining it. So the most recent definition is from the Individual Disabilities Education Act, passed in 2004, and it defines an assistive technology as any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially, off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child with a disability. An assistive technology service is defined as any service that directly assists a child with a disability in the selection, acquisition, or use of an assistive technology device. So this is a chart of example of assistive technology. They are categorized into no-tech, low-tech, and high-tech categories, just depending on how much technology actually is used in the device. This is an image of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and it provides the 13 categories of disabilities as well as the principles of the Act. For this project, I wanted to choose a device that would support a student with each of the 13 disabilities. This picture is a form of augmentative and alternative communication. The function is to provide a means of communication for those that are nonverbal. It would be great for a student with autism that doesn't speak. So some general information. There's some unaided systems such as gestures, facial expressions, and sign language, and then there's aided systems such as pointing to letters, pictures, or words on a board or a screen. It uses the picture exchange communication system, which just puts pictures to the words, and it can be no-tech or high-tech depending if you're using the unaided system or aided system. So in the picture there, with the words that the student chose, they're saying that I want juice. The next disability on the list is deaf-blindness. A person who is considered deaf-blind has some combination of hearing and vision loss, so assistive technology devices for deaf-blindness would also work for just deafness or just blindness and vision impairment. This device is Braille, and the function is to provide a way for people who have trouble seeing words to read. Braille is sometimes the only way that a person who is deaf-blind can read, and for others it's the fastest. It can be no-tech or low-tech because I know that there are some Braille keyboards. This is a telecoil, and its function is to provide more clear and controlled listening to those who wear a hearing aid. These little things are present in most hearing aids, and cochlear implants are inside the device. They make it easier for a person to hear in crowded environments because it blocks out all the extra noise so that a person can just focus on one sound, and these would be considered high-tech. This is a talk light, and its function is to provide teachers with the ability to be more mindful about the volume in their classroom. So this would be used for a student with emotional disturbance, because students with an emotional disability can get easily triggered by loud noises. I would consider this a pretty low-tech device because there's not really much to it. And the great thing about this is that teachers could use this in any classroom as a form of noise control. I know my 4th grade teacher was really fed up with us being loud all the time, so he got one of these, and it worked pretty efficiently because we were all really scared about a red light going off. This device is captioning, which is something I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with, and its function is to provide those that are hearing impaired the ability to see what is being said in a video. It includes the words that are being said and sounds that are being made, and open captioning cannot be turned off, whereas closed captioning can be turned on and off, and I would consider this a high-tech device. This is an alternative keyboard, and its function is to provide a keyboard that suits the needs of a person with an intellectual disability. So they can be adapted in many ways, such as the different shapes of the keyboard, or different places of the keys, or in this example, color coding. So in this example, the vowels are purple, the consonants are green, the numbers are red, the symbols are yellow, and the action keys are blue. This color coordination is what provides the aid to the user because it makes it easier for them to recognize the keys. This is a low-tech device. This is a computer program called Clicker, and its function is to provide those with multiple disabilities the ability to read and write. It's a computer program that has multiple functions. It uses different types of keyboards so that the students can effectively communicate, such as using pictures on the keys, or just words, or a combination of words and pictures. It also uses text-to-speech, and can be used with eye tracking software. I would consider this a very high-tech device. This is a wheelchair, and its function is to provide mobility to a person that has motor problems. An orthopedic impairment can cause spinal cord and nerve damage, lessening or completely removing mobility, so anything that would increase the mobility of the person would be considered an assistive technology device for an orthopedic impairment. A wheelchair would be considered a no-tech device. An assistive technology device for someone with what's called an other health impairment would be this pressure relieving mattress overlay. The function is to provide a more comfortable sleep to those with an OHI. Some examples of other health impairments are cerebral palsy and spina bifida. These conditions cause a decreased mobility and also just can cause pain in the back, so this mattress topper would just be to relieve that while they're sleeping and hit those pressure points. And I found this really interesting because it's something that I've never seen before. This would be considered a no-tech device. The next device is text-to-speech software. Its function is to make reading and comprehending something easier for a person who has a difficulty with reading. A specific learning disability means that the disability is in one area. Some examples are dyslexia, which is trouble with reading, dysgraphia, trouble with writing, and dyscalculia, trouble with math. Speech-to-text will read out loud to the user and gives the same effect as reading something quote-unquote normally. Speech-to-text is a high-tech device. This is an app called Articulation Station. Its goal is to help kids practice pronouncing and speaking their words more clearly. The app breaks down all the sounds separately, and then the user can click on the picture to hear the proper pronunciation of the sound. This would be a high-tech device. This is a talking microwave, and it provides prompts on how to work the microwave, and it will remind the user about the food. A traumatic brain injury can result in cognitive disabilities such as memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and difficulty with processing information. So this way, if the person forgets about the food or forgets how to use the microwave, or when they put the food in and then they get distracted with another task, this device would just be there to remind them that something is in the microwave. I would consider this a high-tech device. And finally, we have a device for the visually impaired. This includes blindness. This is an electronic magnifier, and its purpose is to enlarge whatever is put under the camera so that the user can see it better. With enlarged font, those that are visually impaired are more likely to be able to read, and my grandmother, who is considered legally blind, uses one of these machines to help her with coloring. This is a high-tech device. I had a lot of fun doing the research for this project, and it was amazing to me how many devices are out there to aid those with disabilities. I'm a dual major and I'm leaning more towards the special education field, so I think this was also really beneficial for me to see what devices are out there so that I could get some ideas of what could potentially help my students in the future.